We know the line command, which is definitely the most used in AutoCAD projects, is located here, on this interface, at this point, command line, the workspace I am using. I selected it from this wheel. It's called Drafting and Annotation. And here we find the line command. How does it work? Just click the left mouse button. We are asked to enter the first point of the line. You see that the request also appears near my cursor box. This is because I have active dynamic input. Here it is. If I take it off, I don't have that box anymore. See, it's gone. So I'm still clicking. Because it's very convenient for me to also have the command request reference near the cursor. From the latest versions of AutoCAD, this combination of icons is customizable through this little icon, 3 lines. If the icon is not displayed off the dynamic input, simply click here and at this point. If you tick the dynamic input box, you will add the even on this status bar. I will explain all these things in detail as I continue this course. We focus on align command. Here he is asking for the first point and we insert it with a left click of the mouse. Then, depending on the direction with which we move the mouse, we also indicate the direction of the line. For example, I left the mouse in this point. If I now want to give the length of the line, just indicate the value from the keyboard. For example, a length of 50 and then enter key. Be careful because the command is not finished. I can still continue to create lines. At this point I'd better zoom in closer. Simply turn the mouse wheel, so it is easier to insert the next lines. You see, now AutoCAD is expecting another point to define the second line. Let's leave the mouse in this direction. And we insert 25. Here is where the line is created. With this setting, then we continue by inserting points put down at will. There you go. Clicking with the left mouse button, arrived at this point, we want to close our series of lines. Click on this point or the initial one, the little square will appear. You see, it's the end snap, an aid that allows precise selection at the end points of the lines, which allows us to precisely close the line at the initial point. And then, to complete the command, we have to press Enter key. There you go. Let's take back the line command. Always returning to our icon. Let's put down a few more points because I want to show you that in this area, that is in the command line where AutoCAD dialogues with us, I always invite you to control it, not just here on the mouse area of the dynamic input pane, but also down here because AutoCAD very often presents us with options for each of its commands. In our case, we have 2 inline command. With close we go to close the line, we connect it with the initial point from which we started. Here it is. If I select close, by clicking on this link, our command ends by connecting the last segment at the first summit of our line. Resume command line. There you go. Let's assume that we have made a series of lines, but at this point we realize that the last line was not inserted correctly. Then, in this case, we have the cancel option. You see that it goes back one step, but always inside the command. The command remains active. We do not leave the command line. If we keep cancelling, the last segment is always cancelled. Here it is. Remove the lines that had been inserted incorrectly and then we continue until we want to finish the command and then we press Enter. If you want, there is another option to close the line command. Right mouse button, the Enter item appears here. Let's take back the line command, because I can terminate my line command not only with Enter or with the right mouse button, but also by pressing the space bar, which in my opinion is the most comfortable way. In fact, if I press space bar, it will close the command, and by the way it has another property along with Enter. If we press it again, reload the last command we used. In this case it is precisely the line command. It's all very fast. start drawing again with our lines, you see, space bar or enter to close the command, but also to resume it immediately. In this case it's always about the line command. Of course, if I had used the circle command now, by pressing space bar I'll take back the circle command again. With this technique it becomes very fast to draw. We not only have this icon to activate the line command but also typing the letter L from the keyboard and then enter. Even so we activate the line command. One last thing, not only enter and space bar to end the command, but also the ESC key. There he is. So far we've seen the command line with its options. Let's see how to insert a series of lines precisely. Let's go get the line. I'll do it with keyboard L, enter, here it is. Let's put down the first point. And observe that a green dotted line has appeared. Helps me position the line that I'm about to create exactly horizontally. I leave the mouse in this direction and now simply enter the value of, for example, 50 and then enter. And you can see that my 50 long line has been positioned perfectly horizontal. The same applies to the vertical direction when I move the mouse to this position. When it reaches approximately a 90-degree angle, the dotted line appears, which helps me to insert the line perfectly vertically. Insert, for example, 60, enter. Then we move to the left, here too a line appears in this position. That guides us in inserting a perfectly horizontal line. We enter a value of 70, enter, and that's how you proceed to insert the other lines. I'm inserting these 2 points, here we go, and I'm finishing the line command. The dotted help line appears because we have set some precision instruments. Later, in this course, in the Precision Instruments section, all this will be explained in great detail as they are instruments fundamental to drawing quickly and accurately. Now let's just give a brief explanation. In order to see the dotted line appear, this button must be active. Polar tracking. The 90-degree angle setting allows me to obtain horizontal and vertical lines. But I can also use this option 45 degrees. What's going on? When he started drawing my lines, help appeared not only to 0, 90, 180, but also at 45 degrees. Here it is. OK. I have already mentioned that AutoCAD hooks into the special points of geometry, these special points are set with this icon, OSNAP. Settings, and here we have the ability to set what special points we want to get active. Of course I'll talk about that later, but I'd advise you to keep this combination on at all times here. Because, in my opinion, this is a fast and precise way of drawing. Well, I'd say it's all for line command. See you next time.